In this video today, I am going to tell you what foreign nationals need to know to start investing in real estate in Detroit, Michigan. And if you watch this video, you will discover that this information is actually really good no matter where you're investing. But I want you to invest in Detroit because I sell properties in Detroit. I do have a motive here. And I'm going to tell you, why should you invest in Detroit? We are one of the last places in the country where you can buy an investment property for under $100,000 and we still get good returns. Instead of these other places where people are investing, they're putting all this money into a rental property and just hoping for appreciation. But here, you'll get appreciation, but you're also getting a return on your investment. And Detroit is the comeback city. If you have watched news lately and did a little bit of research, Detroit has really come a long way. And when my investors come here, they're always so surprised how clean Detroit is and how nice, like when they're in the downtown, how nice it is. You see new construction everywhere. You see construction on every street. It's the time right now to get in on investing in Detroit. So I'm going to tell you the things that you need to know as a foreign national now that you've decided you're going to invest in Detroit and you're going to buy properties from me. Okay. Step one. You need to set up your company, and there are 6 steps to setting up a company. The first thing is, it's kind of fun. You get to choose your name. I'll give you the link below where you go online in the state of Michigan and you pick a name and it tells you if your name was taken already or not. Then you need a Michigan registered agent. So when you start a company, you have to have a Michigan address in order to start the company. And that's the address where all your mail is going to go as well. And then you file the articles of organization, and on the articles of organization, you take the company name you pick, you put in the registered agent's name. That's a very simple form to fill out on a Michigan website. Wait. If you are liking this video, please give me a subscribe because you never know what good, solid information I'm going to drop on you next Saturday. I post every Saturday. And then you need an operating agreement if you are opening the company in more than just your name. Like if you have a partner of any kind, you need an operating agreement, or the title company that does the transaction between the buyer and the seller. They're not going to deal with you unless you have that operating agreement. And then you need the EIN, Employer Identification Number. And that's a simple thing for me to do. I've done this lots of times for companies I've started for myself for different properties that I buy in Michigan. And it's a simple website through the government. But it's not so simple if you're a foreign national. And it doesn't work. You get stuck in the middle of it like, there's a trick to this and I don't know what it is. So I'm going to tell you about how you get around these tricks. And then the next thing is you need to find a bank account that's going to deal with you because you're in a different country and it needs to be a U.S. bank account for everything to operate smoothly. You're going to be collecting rent. You want that all to go into a U.S. bank account. So this all begs the question, who's going to help you with all this? Who do you find that can navigate how to get that EIN? I mean, if you got everything else, but you can't figure out the EIN, there are 3 different ways I'm going to tell you how you can achieve this. So first is the least expensive way. And most of my investors, I have noticed over the years, their registered agent address is always in Okemos, Michigan. And that's in the middle of the state of Michigan. It's an hour and a half away from Detroit. And I actually lived there for a brief period of time. I got to wondering, why are they all doing this in Okemos? They must be the best, right? So I called the company up and they said, you're right, it is hard to get the EIN, but we know how to do it, and they can do it all remotely, and it's only like $300. And they're also a registered agent that gets the mail, and as soon as they get the mail, they're scanning it 24 hours a day, so they seem to be the favored place, and I will link them below for you as well. Now, there's a second option that I'm pretty excited about, and I just talked to this person today, and there is a lender that is specifically perfect for foreign nationals, and part of her company is she'll start your company and she'll get you the EIN. She knows the tricks of how to get through all that, and she only charges $495. But what nice thing she does that the notary service, the registered agent, does not do is she has relationships with banks that are good at working with foreign nationals, and what the bank will do is give a $250 credit to the person that opens the bank account. They just need $10,000 to open the bank account. And once they've done that, they get this $250. So her $495 basically goes down to $245, and you walk out with a bank, which is very cool. Now here's the third option, and I didn't even want to say this one, but it's not the right thing. A lawyer. Most people just want to talk to a lawyer. And I got thinking, like, I'm always trying to avoid lawyers myself, but it was worth asking the lawyer that I do refer people to when they do ask for a lawyer to set all this up. I did reach out to this lawyer, and in so many words, I said, I know there's these other services, so why do people need a lawyer? Because you know it's no $300 or $245 if you're going to go to a lawyer. And I asked him, just give me a brief explanation just so that I can find out what I'm missing that I don't know. And he sent me a really good reply, and I'm just going to read it to you. First, please don't take offense to me asking you this. He said, no worries. He said, no worries. It is a very good and important question. I'm able to make sure that the LLC formation is the right setup for the client. For example, Canadians should not use an LLC that is taxed as a pass-through entity, and that all documents are legally appropriate. I also assist the client in setting up banking in the US, so he can do that too, for the LLC, as well as helping them apply for an ITIN along with the EIN for the LLC. So I read that and I thought, well, if you have an EIN, which is the number that you need to get taxed here in the United States, why do you also need an ITIN? And the ITIN is similar to getting a social security number, what we have here in the United States that personally identifies us. And I looked it up on ChatGPT. Go ahead and look it up yourself. There's a lot of reasons, and I'm like, and this is why you use a lawyer. Because everybody's situation isn't identical, and there are a lot of advantages to having both the ITIN and the EIN, and I think a lot of it has to do with if you have a partner, what country you're in. And then he said another really good point. He said, the other reason to use me is that I'm able to solve and resolve any issues that arise, as well as provide tax advice. That's very important, which leads me to, well, we're going to get into the tax advice part at the end because, who likes to talk about taxes? So the next thing I want to talk about that's way more exciting than taxes is the loan. And I am sure you have heard that in order to get a DSCR loan, which stands for debt service coverage ratio, it's every investor's favorite kind of loan, is that the house has to be over $100,000, because these lenders aren't going to fuss with you if you're buying a house under $100,000 because they're not making any money. And this is what I have been told repeatedly until today. And I met a lender today who is figured out that this is such a great niche and there's so much volume that she could do that it's worth it for her to do loans under 100,000. Now, if you're buying a house in Detroit, like I told you, they're under 100. If somebody's selling you a house for over 100, it's really more in a fix and flip neighborhood, and that's not the point. Why would you spend all that money just so you could get that loan? You know, it doesn't even make sense. So she told me that in order to get her loan, one of the houses I sell has to appraise for at least $80,000. Like, that is no problem. Every house I sell would appraise for $80,000. So I was so excited to hear that. She said, oh, I can make it even better. If one of my clients decides to buy 2 houses from me, they only need to appraise for $50,000 each. I mean, her loan is so fantastic. And so I thought, well, what's the catch? What's the interest rate? And she's like, no, they're close to prime. So that's not even the catch. I'm so excited. And then she also offers bridge loans for fix and flips. Now, that's going to be more interest, but she said it's not that much more. And what she does, though, is she saves people on the fees, because there's fees on the front, fees on the back, because you're doing a fix and flip. But that's really good. And then once you're done with the fix and flip and then you want to put it into a DSCR loan, that's another great thing. So that's all incredibly exciting, because we do have a lot of fix and flip opportunities that we want to do with people, but they always have needed cash. But now that I've met her, I can open up to a lot more people. So that's very, very cool. Which leads to step 3, your team. I'm going to tell you what team you get. This is why you need to invest in Detroit, because you get my team. You start with me. I'm the broker. I have the houses. I can do all the real estate transactions. Then you get my husband, Pat. He is the general contractor out there. He is renovating the houses to our standards, which we have our own buy and hold investment properties in Detroit. We've had them since 2007. He renovates them knowing full well what the Section 8 or the city inspections are requiring. And they don't need any of the big stuff once you buy them. They're not what we call lipstick on a pig. We do them well, which leads to the next person on our team is Andrew. He does our property management for my buyers specifically. I'm not giving out his name because unless you buy a house from me, so he prefers to make his money on the percentage of rent per month. And instead of what most property managers do is they make all their money on maintenance. So he's making money on the front end just with the percentage, which is great, and he's wonderful to work with, and he chooses our houses because there's not a ton of maintenance, because that's not where he's making his money anyway. So he's a great part of our team. And then we've got my title company, Erika of Michigan Investment Title. She knows how to get deals done. She knows how to work with foreign nationals. She can solve anything that has ever come her way. And then we've got Christine, who's the lender. And if you want to talk to her and find out more, I'm willing to let you talk to her, but you have to go through me. Email me and I'll connect you. I'm hoping, of course, you're going to buy from me in Detroit, but even if you don't, I'm still happy to share her with you. So just shoot me an email and I will connect you with her. And then we've got Rick, the lawyer, who had all those good points, who's also on the team, who can also connect you with a CPA and who can connect you with the banks here. You need that whole team. But now we're on step 4, which is the taxes. Nobody wants to talk about taxes. I know I don't. There is this thing. If you are a foreign national and you buy a house in Detroit, let's say it's a fix and flip, or let's say it's a buy and hold, and you're ready to cash out. A lot of my foreign nationals have been cashing out because I've been doing this since I don't know when, but my husband, Pat, and I have renovated and sold around 300 properties in Detroit. We're pretty used to this, so a lot of our properties are coming back up. When they sell, they get hit with a FIRPTA tax. FIRPTA stands for Foreign Investment Real Property Tax Act. And it really stinks. You have to take 15%, the title company does this. They pull out 15% of the money from your sale and they put it in this holding place, and it sits there until they figure out the taxes so that you don't run off with tax money that the United States could have taxed you. It's not like you're losing 15%. You're going to get most of that back, is what I've heard. And I did speak with Erika at my title company, and she said it's not that simple. And she sent me this amazing flow chart, and this made me think, okay, this is why you need Rick the lawyer and why you need Erika the title company, because it depends what country you're from. And if you have a partner, and if the partner is a U.S. partner, and if the company is set up in a trust, has to do with whether or not they hold that FIRPTA money. So it's really good if you set it up the right way the first time. So I hope that was helpful, and I sure hope that you are interested in buying properties from me in Detroit, so you get the whole good package. If you are, please set up a time to talk with me. You can go on Calendly and set that up. And I would really look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any, also be sure you email me if you wanted any of these contacts. I'm happy to share because I just want what's good for everyone. Thank you so much for watching.